Hello, my friends. Let's practice making questions in the simple past verb tense. Questions in the simple past are used to ask about events in a specific time period in the past. Like the present tense, the structure of these questions depends on which verb you are using. If you want to use the verb to be, we must use was or were. And with was or were, we do not need a helping verb or auxiliary verb for the structure of the question. We just start with was or were. We use was if our person, place, or thing is I, he, she, or it. And we use were if the person, place, or thing is you, we, or they. After the person, place, or thing, we have the rest of our question. So, an example of a question with was or were, we'll start with was, then the person, she, and then at work yesterday for the rest of the question. So, my question is, was she at work yesterday? Was she at work yesterday? For all other verbs in the past, we need to use the helping verb did. Did does not have meaning in this position, but we use did to help us make the structure of the question. So we start with did in yes or no questions. Then again, we have the name of a person, place, or thing, you, or he, or she, or Bozeman. And then we have our action word. This verb is always in this position in the simple form. So we will say go, or visit, or eat. Even though this question is in the past, we will not use the past form of these verbs. We will not use went or visited or ate here. Then we have the rest of the question. So, for example, did you go to school today? Maybe tonight your spouse or your children will ask you, did you go to school today? And your answer can be yes or no with this question. Did you go to school today? So, some reminders of questions in the simple past is that we only use this if both people in the conversation know the time period being discussed. For example, if we are talking about the last summer, the summer of 2021, I can ask you, did you go to California? Did you go to California? Because we both know that we are talking about last summer. However, if only I am asking about the summer and you don't know, I must be specific and ask, did you go to California last summer? So, like I said, we must be very specific about the time period if we are asking questions in the simple past. If the time is not clear, we must use another verb tense. So if I want to ask you in your whole life, from when you were a baby, as a child, a teenager, and an adult, if I want to ask you if you have been to California, I must use this verb tense. Have you been to California? I cannot say, did you go? Because remember, did you go is only for a specific time. If the time is not clear, if I am asking about your whole life, we have to use this one. This is the present perfect. Have you been to California? Here is another example. Have you been to English class? That means in your life, have you ever attended an English class? So as you can see, the time in these questions, it's not clear. It's any time in the past. And then we use the present perfect. So again, questions in the simple past is only if your time is very clear, if both people know the time period you are talking about. So let's look at some examples of questions in the simple past. Did you have a good winter break? What did you do for New Year's Eve? How was your summer? Did you travel to your country? What was your favorite food as a child? And how often did you eat it? So, as you can see, my friends, questions that start with did or was or were are yes or no questions. But questions that start with what or how often, they need a little bit more information than only yes or no. If I say, what was your favorite food as a child? You must answer with a thing. You must answer with a food. Okay, my friends, you know, practice, practice, practice. I want you to write at least 3 questions using the simple past tense. You can write about this weekend or this summer, anytime in the past. You can ask me questions or your other classmates questions, whatever you would like to do. Some examples are, did you go to your country last summer? Did you visit your friends for Christmas break? Did you like eating vegetables as a child? Okay, my friends, remember, practice, 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 and never give up.